All right, perfect. Good evening, everyone. I'm Deanna Phelan, president of the NBEA, and I want to welcome all of those of you joining us via Zoom and coming live stream from Facebook. Delighted to be joined this evening with Jill Irving, who hails from Moncton, New Brunswick, but this evening coming from Wellington, Florida. Those of you not familiar with Jill's resume, it's impressive. Back in 2018, she was part of the World Equestrian Games dressage team that went to Tryon, North Carolina. But the real shining star came in 2019. She traveled to Lima, Peru, part of Canada's dressage team, and the team brought home team gold. And that was impressive, and it really punched the ticket for our Canadian team to be qualified for the Tokyo Olympics in 2020. Now, we know what happened in 2020, the pandemic, and the Olympics were canceled. So now Jill is back in Wellington, Florida, with the focus on the 2021 Olympics. She's training, she's trying to qualify there. Welcome, Jill Irving. And before we talk about the 2021 Olympics, let's go back in time. Jill, how did your, where and how did your love affair of horses begin? And how in God's name did you pick dressage?
Well, it's a great question. I grew up in Sudbury, Ontario. My dad showed up at the cottage with a black thing on a rope in the dark. I was 4 years old and we were tired. My mom woke us up and it was a surprise. It was Coco, the $75 pony that we were afraid of. And then my dad realized my parents were not horse people. So we joined the Sudbury Pony Club. And today I was working at the stable. It was a day off for the grooms. And I left thinking, oh, thank God I went to Pony Club. The background, the horsemanship, I appreciate it now. I don't think I did appreciate it when I was a kid, only the riding portion. And then I went from there. We met a lady named Nancy Bennett that owned Findolin Welsh ponies, and she introduced us to pony hunters. We went to the Royal Winter Fair. I competed with her at a pretty high level. She had some great ponies. Then I started 3-day eventing, met John McPherson, my first dressage trainer. I was about 16 and I asked him to move to Sudbury to coach me, and we're still good friends today. And he thought, what kind of kid at 16 tells me to move? But my parents were really supportive, and he came up every month for about a week and a half and coached me. And it was when it was really at that point that I was doing well in dressage and eventing and thought I was really talented. So I thought, I'm just going to go to dressage. Well, guess what? It's totally different. Then I met Crystal Boylan, and worked with her over the years. Then I was friends with Ashley Holzer, who is currently my coach now, and we've known each other for 34 years. So that's a very interesting relationship. And one thing I will say from the old days is I still have friends from the Sudbury Pony Club. They still are watching me on the live feed. You know, I have got New Brunswick behind me. I've got Sudbury behind me all the way.
Yeah. No, you've got a great following. So Jill, so you were part of that, the WAG team in 2018, but traveling to Lima, Peru, and bringing home team gold and standing on the podium with a medal around your neck.
Epic.
Talk to us
Epic,
about
for
that
real. I mean, I wish I could go back and feel that feeling again. My husband was cheering so loud and leaning over the rail. I thought, oh my God, don't fall off. You know, we had a huge Canadian contingent. Having my husband there was really meaningful. The kids didn't come. You know, I'm away from them so much. Just having my family there meant so much. Believe it or not, that we got the gold medal before I even went into the ring. I was warming up and Degas was on fire, and there was this sudden massive screaming, and he starts kind of wanting to prompt me and get spicy. And I'm on the mic saying to Ashley, gosh, geez, what's going on? Like, these people are crazy. And she goes, just shut up. You just got the gold medal. And I'm like, what? And I was the anchor. So I really just had to go in and do whatever. So that was a little bit unexpected, but super wonderful. I have to tell you, my team experience was amazing. Teammates were super fun. I'll never forget when we loaded to go out of Florida onto the plane. Belinda Trussell and Megan Lane, who are our alternates, literally showed up, loaded the equipment with us, loaded the horses, hugged us goodbye. It was like going to summer camp with the 6 girls. And I wasn't, you know, it's an individual sport until you're on a team. So That was amazing. Due to transport, we were all really concerned about shipping to Peru with the horses. There were no horse vans per se in the country. It's a third world country. Tim Duda rocked it. I mean, he basically looked at me and he said, look, Jill, your horse isn't going if I can't get it there safely. They did an amazing job, and with social media, every step of the way, the horses were loaded. They were nickering at us. We were on the plane. I have to say, Duda handled it great. He also handled getting our quarantine back into the US. It was complicated. They could have made the horses 30-day quarantine if they wanted to. And because it was an event and we were in quarantine over there, Tim pulled it all off. So the horses were only 7 days in quarantine in Florida, which means no riding, just stall rest. And then getting them home into Canada and having the right paperwork was also complicated, but it happened. So third world countries are challenging, but it was a great event, and Peru is an amazing place.
So obviously Canada, you punched a ticket to get to Tokyo. So now you're in Florida last winter trying to.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing. We did our job. Our job was to secure a spot to the Olympics, and that was all we were there for. It was total team. No one was thinking individual. It was just the best experience in the world. Everyone had each other's. It was fun to be on a team.
Yeah.
So we did our job, and that's what was a thrill, was that we did what we were supposed to do. The Americans had really bad luck. A horse got injured on the way to the plane. They only had 3 riders. We thought that was an advantage to us, and we took advantage of that. They're our friends, but we haven't won a gold in 28 years. So it was super exciting. Nice
So as you know, the Pan Ams are very important. You know, Canada needed to medal and we didn't medal, and the show jumping is only sending 1 person. So, you know, the Pan Americans, when they say you have to medal, and you did your job, and that was great. So now let's talk 2020. You're in Florida, you're accumulating points and scores, trying to make that Olympic team. And then in March, the show was shut down. They're telling people to go home. And you and I saw each other in the Publix parking lot to see if we knew anything about the Olympics. And then finally it was said, okay, everything's canceled. So where are you and what do you do?
Well, it was a funny thing in March. My kids, Pierre Trudeau was telling us all to come home, and there was a threat they weren't going to let us into our country, which they were. My children, that age group, they're in their 25, 32-ish, they were super diligent about telling me they wanted me to come home stat. I was like, no, I got to get my horse home. Just get home, Mom. The groom can do it. Like, they were really, really concerned about me. I was dawdling and not saying too much to them because I was waiting to hear the Olympics were canceled. Then I wasn't going to have to go to Tryon. Then I could go home. So I kind of had to flub a bit and tell everyone I was on my way home. And I really was. And Brittany Fraser too. 2 of us were like, okay, we're telling everyone we're coming home, but we're waiting for the cancellation. I think the Olympic Committee could be a little more, they could have been a little quicker on that. And we weren't surprised. And I simply just, as soon as I heard it was canceled, I just went, okay, go home, train, get ready for when it happens. And then they told us it was a year away and the training began. So really in my mind, I just didn't even care to think about it. To think about how it was going to affect me. I was just going to get ready and prepare for the next thing. I will tell you, in July, I trained on a Pixio, which is like a virtual system. I have a monitor on my arm, and the video camera follows my monitor. And I trained with Ashley 3 days a week. And I'll never forget July 7th, I ran through the Grand Prix on Degas, and she said to me, my God, that was your Olympic ride. And what was great about that was now I can maybe backtrack and look at, I had peaked him at the right time. I mean, I didn't have the flight to Tokyo to include, but that was really great to see and to understand, hey, confidence, you're going in the right direction. So basically I just kept training, which was sometimes mentally it was tough, but it's what you have to do.
So you were in Moncton and
Ashley, in Moncton, New Brunswick, training for the Olympics on a Skype.
And Ashley was in New York?
No, Florida.
Florida, okay.
All right. Yeah, Monday morning. It was like 95 there and 75 in Moncton.
All right.
But you know what's great? I got the Pixio machine working well. I'm not a huge tech person, so I kind of put it off a little bit. Anyway, it's working great. I school the kids at home now.
Oh, good. All right. So now tell us about your two horses as you're ramping and got your eye on the Olympics. You're in Florida, you're qualifying or trying to qualify. Who are you riding?
Okay, I've got a horse, Degas. I've had him, I'm writing it down, for 13 years. He's a dream horse. He's done all I've ever asked of him. We went to Europe in 2017. We did Aachen, we did Capon, we did a huge European tour. Arthur came, but he was green then. But then Degas got me to WAG, and Degas got me to the Pan Am Games, and Degas got me to Tokyo 2020, and we'll see if he gets me to 2021. I am the luckiest girl on the planet that I have a second ride. Not too many people are that fortunate. The one thing I will say about Degas is I did 7 World Cups in Florida every single year for 9 years. So that tells you the, he's the little engine that could. He just always performed and just always did his job. So he's my heart horse, and his dad's De Niro. And Arthur's dad is Jazz. I've had Arthur 5 years. Both of them I bought before they were Grand Prix, I might add. Arthur can score really high. He's extremely, extremely talented. His tension sometimes gets in the way of the better of him sometimes. But that seems to have improved from last winter to this winter, which is super. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have to say.
All right, so who are we going to watch in the video?
Arthur in the freestyle. I believe it was this January.
Yeah. Okay, Nancy.
If I send you the right video.
Yeah. So Jill's going to talk to us through the video. She's going to explain what movement we're actually viewing, and then she should be able to give us a critique of how she thinks.
Okay, so just so you guys know, don't hit it yet, Deanna. What I want to say is there's a new format. We have to go into a website. God forgive me, it's difficult, and we have to give them our floor plan.
Okay.
So the judges know what it is in advance, and then it spits out, the computer reads the degree of difficulty of your floor plan. And that I guess the thought for that is it doesn't make the judges as they're going along to figure out the degree of difficulty. The degree of difficulty is already there, but you do have to deliver. Right. So it's different than the past. And some people have said it's not really a freestyle because you can't change things in there. It's what's there, you're marked on.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
So this is my entry. I enter at a trot and I put my hand up, and that's when they start the music. So I know you'll see my hand go up. That's when the music goes on, and that helps me with my timing to know to halt at the correct spot when I come in. Now, I don't have the music. Does anybody have the music on this? Oh, is everyone hearing the music? Because I'm not.
Try that.
Salute. Is the music on for everybody?
Yep.
Good. This is trot half pass. So I have to do trot half pass. This is what he's very good at. And I love it because when he bends, he's not as tense, and it kind of gets him chilled at the very beginning. And then I'm going into an extended trot here. And this would be the one move that I would like to improve on significantly. And then I'm going straight into passage, which is a compulsory move, into Piaffe, coming up here at A. I can't hear the music. I hope everybody else can. We have to do 12 to 15 steps of Piaffe. I couldn't really, back to passage. And then I'm going to walk. And I'm going to first do extended walk, which you have to do. It's compulsory. And this is a move that he can get a 9 for. He's got beautiful stretch and overstep. I don't know if he stretches here. Pretty good. When he's nervous, it can be dangerous to give too much of the reins because he can be spooky. And then you're going to see me pick up, there he spooks. There's an example. Collected walk comes next, not yet. I'm collecting. Now I can hear the music. And now I'm going to canter, and I'm going to go immediately into a canter half pass, which I have to do. So here's my canter half pass. It's excellent. You can see he's even and the crossover is amazing. And I'm going to do a lead change right here. And then I'm going to go into a double pirouette to the left. One pirouette is compulsory, but I'm going to get more points and do two. And you can see how the back legs, that's not bad. It could be smaller. The second one, let's see if I can make it smaller. It's still a little too big, but it's nice. And then I'm going to go into extended canter, which is compulsory. Again, it's another move that I have to do. And I'm going to do a half pirouette here that is just to get me around the other way. It doesn't really count for anything. And I'm going to go straight into my 2-time changes. So you can see them here. Oops. 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, 6, 2, 7, 2, 8, 2. And I did it on a bending line, so that's mega high technical difficulty. And the number I did are high. Now we're going to do half pass the other way, which is compulsory. This is an amazing half pass. Super. That's it. And we're a little, I'm frozen. Oh, here we go. Lead change. And I'm doing the double pirouettes to the right. It's a mirror of the other way. It's nice for the judges. Let's see if this pirouette's tighter. I think it is. Yes, very good. That's a great pirouette. See how the back legs are really on the spot. Awesome. That could easily be an 8-5. They probably only gave me an 8. Into the ones on a bending line. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Amazing. Bending line. You only have to do 7 on a bending line if it's bending. And then here, what am I doing next? Oh, this is my joker line. So I have a choice to do changes if I missed any changes or an extended canter. Because I didn't miss the changes, I chose to do another extended canter. So it's kind of my safety net if I miss any of the changes. And then here, what do I do? Okay, so here I'm going back and I'm going to canter to piaffe, which is high degree of difficulty. Very hard move. And that's pretty damn good. And I delivered it. So they have to give me a good mark. And then I'm going to passage, which is compulsory. And then I'm going to passage here. I changed the end of my test this show. And so I have to say I was a little insecure about making sure I met the music at the end because it was the first time I ever did it. Passage. And then I'm going to turn and piaffe. Up center line. This is lovely, lovely, lovely neck carriage. I'm going to piaffe here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Could have done more. Passage half pass is very high degree of difficulty. And he does it very well. So that's why I choose to do it. And then I'm going to come to a halt here. And I hope it's a square halt. Should be. Yes. And I was very thrilled with that ride. I think I got a 74.
Lovely. Lovely.
Now, I couldn't hear the music. Could the other people hear the music?
It's hard to say. Did you hear it, Nancy?
Well, it's on my computer, so it was full blast for me. I tinkered a little bit with some of my settings, so I really apologize. Jill, do you mind if I share that video link with our members?
No.
Okay, great. That's super. We'll put it in our newsletter and may link it with this video when we build a page for it on our website, if that's all right.
Yep, that's great.
Perfect. So Jill, with your showing in Florida right now, how many times a month would you be showing that horse?
We have an opportunity for 2 international shows a month. And with Arthur, I've pretty well done them all. It's a long season, like they pick the team in June. So there's going to be a lot of Canadian shows. So, you know, it's a long season. You've got to just equate for that.
Right.
So next week I show Arthur.
Okay. All right. So Nancy, why don't we open it up and see if the dressage community or just our membership in general have some questions for Jill in her her quest to represent Canada at the next Olympics.
People want to signal me and let me know in chat if you have questions for Jill.
I will say, Jill, you know, as a coach watching, and hopefully the people that watch the video, you have wonderful equitation. I really admire.
Well, I want to talk to you about that. I'm glad you mentioned it.
As,
I was doing a lesson with my kids at home. They're not kids, and I was really focused on pressing the heel, pressing the leg down, sitting up very, very, very tall, and sitting on the back of, not the back of the horse, but you know, sitting up tall and straight, and keeping the balance of the horse correct. And I was saying to them, don't take this personally. I am always working on my equitation. And you know this as well. If when the horse is challenging, that's when our equitation really needs to be great. And that's when it's really hard to make it great. You know, when they're throwing you left or throwing you right. And I've worked really, really, really heavily on my upper body. And I feel like it has made a massive change from last winter to this winter.
No, you're very, very straight, and you have beautiful, your fingers are closed, your thumbs are straight, your elbows are bent, and you have an inside leg and an outside leg. You know how many times a day I tell people to close their fingers, keep their elbows in front of their body, and put their outside leg.
I know, but you know how hard that is to do?
It actually is, but you gave a beautiful demonstration, even though we were able to watch beautiful half pass and the advanced movements. I hope people actually looked at your position, because again, you're only as good as your position. And the
position allows the horse to go correct, and it's like that vicious circle.
Yeah.
I will say, just the other day, last week, I was actually on Arthur working on inside leg, pushing him to the outside rein, and I'm like saying to Ashley, oh my gosh, he's not going into my left rein. And that's why sometimes my left rein is coming back, because I'm looking for the contact with the hand instead of pushing him over. And there's a seasoned Grand Prix horse. And you know, straightness is so hard. I don't care how good they are, how old they are. Who goes straight? Yeah. It's so hard to ride straight. Yeah. And we're still doing it. Equitation and riding a horse straight. Yeah. Doesn't matter who we are.
It doesn't get any easier. It just keeps getting more complicated.
Well, we get more, yeah. And I think we should be able to go straight and be perfect at our level.
So Nancy, what do you got?
One of our young viewers on Facebook is asking, what helps you learn your tests?
Oh, okay. So what I do, okay, when I was a D pony clubber, I did a dressage test, and I was so lost. The judge stopped me and said, little girl, I don't know where you're going. And I was so embarrassed, but I had no business doing a dressage test at that level. Like there was no way I could memorize it. So at the lower levels, you can have someone call and read to you. Practice on your horse at home if you can. And for me, before I go in the ring, I'm in the aisle of the show stable, and I go through the test like a horse. I canter in, I trot in. They all laugh at me, they video me, I passage, I do my one-time changes, but at the same time, I'm not just doing the test. I am saying, entering at the canter, collect, 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 upright, upright, upright body, right leg, left rein, collect, collect, collect. I'm not saying canter in, halt. I'm saying what I'm gonna do every stride while I canter into halt. So part of the test is how I'm riding the horse through that test. So put the letters down in a rectangle at home and run through it like you're a horse. That's how I do it. Now everyone's different. You can buy those whiteboards that have the ring, and you can also do it with a marker. I also go to the ring. I don't do it as much anymore because global, I've been here for 10 years. But I go and I visualize like in Aachen, I went and stood at in Aachen in Europe and visualized in the ring where I was. So if I looked up, I didn't panic. I knew I was at that spot imagery wise in that Coliseum. So I also have an image of when I'm, what's at M? Like, is there a Range Rover or is there a plant? Right. Just so I was familiar in the horse show environment.
Perfect. Okay, what else, Nancy?
Another member wants to know how long you've been riding and how old you were when you began international showing.
Okay, international showing happened when I was in dressage. So I would say, oh, well, no, probably in my early 20s. I started doing CDIs in my early 20s. But honestly, back then, I don't know if they were I don't even know what we called those shows. I was in Florida in 1992 competing. So maybe that gives you an idea of the high level of dressage. That was my first high level dressage competition, was 1992 in Florida, or maybe 1993. Now, as a child, I showed at the Royal Winter Fair, which to me is also an elite level of horse show that requires a similar dedication and focus, just different discipline.
Right.
Yes. You have young horses coming along. What are your plans for them? I see you have.
Oh gosh, I have amazing young horses. Thanks for asking that. So I have a mare Donatella that I showed to Prix St. George, and she had a foal that is from Rousseau, and he's 3, just turned 3. He was born in October. His name's Mr. October, after the baseball player Reggie Jackson. And he is with Wayne McClellan in Toronto. Because of COVID, I didn't want to bring him to Florida. So I shipped him off to Wayne McClellan, who trains my daughters, and he's starting him, and he looks lovely. So Wayne's starting him. I may have Wayne jump him a bit and just play with them. I have a 5-year-old, or no, just turned 6, Sir Tacky, that is out of Sir Heinrich, and he will hopefully do the 6-year-old FEI this year. Super talented for Piaffe Passage, already showing it in hand. And then I bought online, if you can believe it, this amazing 5-year-old named Knight. And he is very cheeky and extremely talented, and he's a little bit further behind in training, so he'll show this year. We've taken him off property, and all 3 of them have the exact same marking as Degas, so no one knows who is who in the barn. They're bay with the white star and 1 white foot. So as long as they don't bring the 5-year-old to the Grand Prix ring, we're good to go.
Wrong horse, yeah.
Yeah, could you imagine? I probably wouldn't notice, just kidding.
One of our Pony Club instructors wants to thank you for mentioning your Pony Club background.
Oh, it's the best in the whole wide world. And I don't even know if it really exists anymore. Now, with my grandkids, we're going back to the Pony Club manual.
Now, Pony Club is very much alive and well in the province of New Brunswick. And we've got some great people heading up the clubs here. So they're always happy to get a shout out from some of the kids' idol like you.
Well, it was fun too. My gosh, we had fun.
Yeah.
One of the kids is asking, she says, do you know any student internships available in Florida? We're sorry that COVID has been such a hampering to your equine youth mentorship program.
I know. Okay, it was heartbreaking to cancel it, but I will share with you, Tiffany Dalton, I couldn't have done it without her. She's amazing helping me on it, along with the 2, I have to mention, it's not my program. It is everyone's program. It's a collaborative. Just recently, a friend of mine went and interviewed Ian Miller, and he was bragging about the mentorship program. And I thought, wow, he's missing us this year. But when we made the decision to postpone it, I had this tremendous weight off my shoulders, because my heart goes out to the businesses and the horse shows and anybody trying to do anything in COVID. The stress is crazy. So I don't know any internships. The problem with Florida is Florida's an expensive place to bring horses and to do things. The best thing to do is to apply for a job in Florida. Internships and working students in Florida, it isn't really an easy thing to do because of the cost of bringing your horse and that kind of thing. Internships are better off done in Canada, and apply to work in Florida, and you'll have a better chance of being there. Or apply for the mentorship program.
Someone wants to know, if you make it to Tokyo, will you take your Farrier with you? And Mark Gauthier is asking.
That's That's a really good question. So we have, the team has a support staff. We have a vet. And the farrier that I know would be setting up for Tokyo happens to be, I use Dave Farley in Florida, and I use Mark Gauthier in New Brunswick, and they collaborate amazing. And Dave was saying to me that his association is setting it up. So no, we don't bring our farriers. Accreditation is next to impossible to get. Deanna knows this. But we have, Equine Canada has a vet, and they bring our support staff. So, and I'm really glad that I don't have any complicated farrier feet because it would be difficult to bring and for them to bring their equipment. So it's all set up by the games.
Are you nervous at all about traveling your horses to such a foreign country, to looking after hay and feed and all the things that have to go?
So the hay and the feed is looked after by the games. They get we've already, the paperwork to being on a team is astronomical. You almost want to hire an assistant to do it, but the problem, they want to know what feed we're on, the ingredients, every supplement, the ingredients, where it's manufactured. It's like doing a school project. So we did that a long time ago. The games supply all of the food and all of the hay. It will be super great quality. So I'm not worried about that at all. I feel that if I can go to Lima, Peru, I can go to Tokyo. The site is state of the art in Tokyo. It's air conditioned. It's going to be 40 Celsius or higher. Yeah. Degas competed at WEG, and it was probably as warmer than Tokyo. Both of my horses do not require a long warm up. They could warm up in 9 minutes and go in the ring. So that for me is confidence boosting. Yes, it's a very far flight, but I feel like my horses have both flown before, and we've got, our vet will be traveling with them. And I really feel that it will be, that doesn't even cross my mind.
That's wonderful. You're lucky to be in that situation. I'd be.
Well, we have good people. We couldn't do it without the support staff.
Right. Speaking of which, one of our kids is asking, do you have any grooms? Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I have a groom. Well, there's two grooms. So Brittany Fraser and I basically share two grooms. Alexia does my CDI horses. She's from Quebec. And Kate Hess does Brittany's CDI horses. Those are international horses. And then they team up and collaborate with the young horses. And what's wonderful about this is they spell each other their days off. And if they share night check, and if one's sick, the other one can cover. And if I'm showing and Brittany's not, they can do the home horses. So Brittany and I have been doing this for years. She's my teammate, direct competitor. And it just goes to show you that, you know, we work well together. And I will tell you one thing, you are not at the level that I'm at or anybody is at without the support. I call it my posse. You know, I told the groom, Alexia, just the other day, I waltzed the horse show. I said, just FYI, I couldn't do this without you. And she's kind of surprised, like, oh, wow, but it's the truth. It is totally a team sport. She's on time and super organized and 10 steps ahead of me. She reads my mind. It's just, I'm so fortunate. And she just came to me in October. So she's got some experience, but it's a great relationship. We have a lot of fun together. And, you know, at the same time, my vets look at the horses every week. The farrier's in there. You know, my family, my province, I mean, everyone's behind me. And, you know, sometimes that feels like the most pressure. And the biggest fear is not letting the posse down, you know, and knowing when you're so close and you can do it, you want to do it for them. It's not, you're not just riding for yourself. At least I'm not.
No.
Kathleen Boss wants to know if you can hire her again and she'll do your paperwork.
Tell her, thank you very much. I'm grateful.
She says, give Artie a kiss for her.
Okay.
That looks like the sum total of our questions for this evening. Deanna, if you want to.
That's perfect. Listen, Jill, I want to thank you for your time and thank you for putting New Brunswick on the map, number one.
Anytime.
and
my pleasure.
and representing us so proudly. And you certainly have the dressage community and all of the members of the NBEA behind you, and waving our provincial flag and our Canadian flag. So all the best while you continue your training and competing in Florida. And we look forward to seeing you soon.
Can I say something quickly?
You can.
Thank you, NBEA, like Nancy, for saving me and helping me on the computer. You guys are behind me. And Deanna, you're putting New Brunswick on the map with CBC. You do a great job. I'm going to grow up and be just like you and speak that well. So thank you. Hi, Tiff.
That's great. Well, you keep sitting trot up the center line. And,
I will. You keep jumping.
And keep representing us proudly.
I'm here anytime you need me.
That's great. Well, thank you for everyone for tuning in to our Sunday night chats, and we look forward to seeing you all in the future.
Okay. Take care.
Good luck,
Bye.
Adele.